Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Rose.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our Survivor 48 Episode 2 reaction and review. We have our first blindside of the season.
Yep.
It was effective. It was interesting. Was it actually the right move? An entirely different question.
Yeah, what are you guys feeling about that? Are you guys feeling that Kevin was the right move? Because for me, I'm kind of feeling like maybe too early. You're a tribe that is losing challenges and you're going to get rid of somebody who's pretty physical. It feels like kind of not the right move for right now. Like, does Kevin need to go? Yeah, Kevin needs to go. But does he need to go right now? I wouldn't have made that move.
It's a really interesting discussion point because we are in, and I hate the words new era because I feel like they're said too many times, but
Yeah.
we are in the new era. And I think in this era, there's a lot of, oh, we're just going to get rid of people who are playing too strategically right now because, oh, there's going to be a tribe swap coming. Oh, there's going to be this, that, or the other thing. And they're going to end up being safe. It's like, you don't know that for sure because Probst is maniacal and he does a lot of things that make us mad sometimes, but he also will do the thing sometimes where he'll just let things play out for a long time and you keep losing challenges. Eventually, you're just going to go almost by default.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is you have to get to that point.
Yeah.
And a lot of these challenges are very physical. It would be like if you had somebody like a Kevin
Mhm.
and me on the team and I am a non-athlete. I would do terrible at Survivor. I would be like the person that's like under the rope stuck screaming. Like that would be me. So you then keep me and your team is losing. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
We would both be absolutely horrendous, by the way, in the challenge you are not alone in the challenge that they brought up in this episode.
Yeah.
No, we're going to get a lot into the decision that was made to get rid of Kevin, but also lots of interesting stuff over at the Siva tribe and the Logi tribe. Like, I think this is a really jam-packed and really good episode in terms of understanding who people are, where they stand in the game. Before we go forward, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yes, we're here breaking down Survivor 48 every week, but also The Amazing Race is back tonight. We love The Amazing Race. We're going to be covering season 37 throughout the spring, so be
Yep.
sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys do not miss that.
Also, if you want to help support Matt and I further, you can join our Patreon. We'll have a link for you below, and you can get more reality TV coverage over there. But we
Yeah.
are also covering exclusively over there The Pit, which is
Yeah.
airing on Max. And we just finished up Prime Target, which is airing on Apple TV Plus. And we're going to be having some polls coming up on what we're going to be covering over there coming up in the near future.
Yes.
And our patrons get to decide. And there will be exclusive videos over there weekly on the show that you guys all choose. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined our Patreon. You know, we really appreciate it. It helps
Yeah.
us a lot.
It really does. So thank you guys so much. And okay, since we've already started here at the Luva Green tribe, we'll
Yep.
just spend a little bit of time going through what happened piece by piece.
Yeah.
Because in the early going, we sort of see a little bit of a discussion between Say and then Mary. And it's
Yep.
kind of feeling like, okay, at this point, Mary's the obvious target. She's somebody who is easy to get rid of. And then we have the classic, because this is a new era Survivor thing. Their journey comes up and they have to do this random decider to figure out who's going to go on the journey.
I know. And it's so weird the way that it kind of played out. I mean, at first
Yeah.
Mary's like, okay, this is a practice, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it is. And then Say wins and she's like, all right, I'm getting on the boat. And everyone's like, whoa, wait a second. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I understand that move could have worked. It
Yeah.
might have worked, but because you and Mary already have some problems, Mary's not going to let that happen. She is going to be like, no. We all said this was a practice. It is a practice. You don't get to just kind of bulldoze your way over this. We're doing it again. And then Mary gets to go. And did it work out for Mary? No, because she lost her vote. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I really like having Say on the show because I like people who are really competitive and want to play hard. And it seems like she's at least conscientious of the fact that this is a TV show and we want to be entertained.
Absolutely.
At the same time, You're doing too much, Say. It's just like in the premiere, you went really full tilt on getting this idol. Everybody knows now how competitive and hungry you are to play the game.
Mhm.
And then once again, with the whole practice, non practice, what is this round, trying to go on the journey, it's like yet another thing where if I'm somebody else on this tribe, I'm just going to be like, okay, you're really gung ho about potentially getting way too much power too early in the game. And then I'm going to be fully dependent on, okay, can I trust you for the remainder of it? And I'm not saying that she would completely flip on every single, ally she ever has, but it would show at the very least to me that she's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And that would mean potentially throwing me under the bus at some point.
The biggest problem that I would be running into with her is that she holds a grudge. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what it is. Mary threw out a vote. Now Mary's got to go.
Yeah.
Kevin has said her name. Now Kevin has to go. And she is loyal to the people that will follow her. But if
Mhm.
you don't get behind her, then you don't get to go on the ride. And in some ways, that's something that feels like could be easy to control
Mhm.
down the road. Where if it's like, okay, I want so and so to go, I'll whisper that in her ear and she will just focus on that and I will get what I want out of it. And then when it's time to get rid of Say, as long as you don't tell her, she's going to go. It's
Yeah.
just kind of the way that it is. But at the same time, it's so chaotic when it comes to like even at tribal council where she's just like, yeah, I've got my 4 people and we're rolling over everybody. And
Yeah.
Jeff's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mary, where do you stand on this? Like, clearly you're
Yeah.
out. And I understand at that point what Say is saying, where she's just like,
Mhm.
well, what does it matter? Like, we're all voting the same way, so who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna go, and we are all part of the alliance. So, what is the discussion? But at the same time, if I'm one of the team members, I'm kind of like, okay, well, then what happens when Mary is gone? We can't be an all team anymore because if we come here again, then what happens, right?
Yeah, I just think it's such a mistake to not just go ahead and get rid of Mary at this point because
I
Mary, she
agree.
already knows that she's at the bottom. I get it. It's not a flashy move. A lot of these people, especially with how much the edit of Survivor is hyping up big moves, make yourself a hero, have your hero move, put on your
For
cape
sure.
and run around the jungle. It's like, okay, all of that is well and good.
It's episode 2.
Yeah, it's episode 2. You're in a spot right now where, let's say hypothetically, there is a tribe swap coming and you guys
Mhm.
don't know that. Mary's not going to stay with you guys because you have already told her that she is on the bottom. It
That's
just, you can't, you have to think things logically in terms of
right.
the future. And yes, you can put it in the back of your head. Okay, we know we can't trust Kevin in the long term, but at the same time, you might need him for challenges, which, something you established a little bit earlier. And
Yes.
two, he is a number at this very point. So we get into the situation here where at first, Mary is going to be the target. Like that's going to happen. But then Cedric has this conversation with Say, and Cedric's kind of the one that points out that, okay, Kevin is saying this, but, we shouldn't get rid of Kevin at this point. And I'm just like, if I'm Say, I understand I want to play really, really aggressively, but it's also Cedric gave you this information when he didn't have to. He's already sticking his neck out a little bit for you. I think in that position, it's good to sort of acquiesce to that person and be like, okay, you did something for me. I'm going to do something for you.
And also when it comes back, that now Say is kind of starting to spread around to get rid of Kevin. Like the
Mhm.
look on Cedric's face felt like he knew that he messed up and he shouldn't have said anything because Say is just playing too hard. If you're going to say
Yeah.
something to her, she's going to get wound up about it and she is going to end up striking first.
Yeah.
She has shown that already. She's here to play. She
Mhm.
doesn't care if she's here to really make friends or not. She wants to get to the money. And,
Yes.
that's exciting to watch. But it's also difficult when you are trying to play a little more low key, get some alliances together where
Mhm.
she's just out there being like, oh, Kevin said my name. Cool. Now I'm saying it to everybody. It's just like, oh my goodness. Like, pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like moving forward, if I am Cedric, I would still work with Say for the time being, but I would make Pizza Man Justin my number one ally at this point, just because Pizza Man doesn't seem like he's doing all that much. And it feels like he can be a little bit more of an information vault, at least per what little we have seen about this guy. And what we have seen about this guy is basically pizza, long hair, and that's it.
Yeah, and it feels a lot more like that's not how it's gonna go. I think Cedric is still gonna continue to ride with Say at this point,
Mhm.
and everyone else is just gonna be kind of left in the dust. I mean, Kevin felt like he really was the tent pole for that three guy alliance, and they
Mhm.
could have easily ridden this to the merge. But now that he is gone, I feel like Cedric's just going to stay with Say.
Mhm.
You know, Say has a problem with Mary. Mary will probably be next, and Pizza Guy's on his own. Like, they're very fractured now.
Yeah,
Mary was the right vote. This shouldn't have gone this way.
yeah, they just make it easy for now. Give yourselves a good chance of winning the next challenge and at least presenting yourselves as a somewhat unified group moving forward. I mean, who knows if that would last? It probably wouldn't, but you're taking out a little bit of an uncertain variable if you get rid of Mary. Now, I will ask you this because it worked out okay for Mary that she was honest with everybody that, okay, I didn't win anything. It just didn't
Mhm.
work out for me on the journey. Should she have lied and been like, oh, I got something, and tried to use that as leverage to not get rid of her because you'd be putting yourself in danger?
So I'm terrible at lying, which is why I would never be on any of these shows. I just
Mhm.
wouldn't do very well. I'm a lot like Eva in that way where I'm really direct and I expect that people are going to be direct with me, which is why I would really suck at these shows. But if I was better at lying, I absolutely would have just lied about it because if she knows she's on the bottom, you don't really have anything to lose.
Yeah, I think you can try everything, but this is one of those instances where I would say the wrong thing and I would end up probably getting voted out in this instance because I
Yeah.
think when the dust settles, obviously she did the right thing because she didn't try to make too many waves. She was basically told to lay low and not really do much. That's exactly what she did, and she gets to live another day.
She got lucky. She got lucky that Kevin started to do his thing
Mhm.
and that Cedric decided to tell Say. Because if Cedric hadn't done this, then Mary would be gone.
It's true. And sometimes on Survivor, you just have to get lucky. And like this is the hard thing to me about losing Kevin is I'm not trying to, go at or just completely drag Mary. It's just like I think Kevin was better TV. And I think from a TV perspective,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit bummed that we have lost him at this point.
Yeah, like I think it would have been Mary. I know that they were like working at trying to get Say out, but I
Yeah.
think that probably would have changed
Mhm.
along the way. If Cedric hadn't done that, I still think that they would have moved it into a different direction. Just been like, you know what?
Yeah.
I know it's not exciting TV, but we are a four-person alliance. We can all fight it out afterwards. Let's just get rid of Mary and we'll move forward. Say is a heavy competitor. She's really putting her all into these
Yeah.
challenges and we need her.
And because Say did play her idol, like
Mhm.
you do potentially have a chance to get rid of her next time if you want to make that decision,
Yes.
but it's going to be a lot trickier making this decision now when you have someone left in Mary who, if you want to try to make a move with Mary, maybe she'll go with you, but there's going to be a lot of trust issues there because she already knows she's on the outs.
Absolutely. So, do you think that you would have lied about losing your vote?
Okay, this is a tricky situation. I would have probably lied if I was Mary,
Mhm.
but I probably would have been voted out. And so that's why I'm just thinking, all right, she made the right move, but this is a perfect transition to get over to the Loggy tribe here. We'll
Yeah.
go to the Purple tribe because there's a lot of takes that we can throw out about all of this.
All right.
Let's start with the fact that, okay, Thomas lied about what he got out there
He
because
did.
both him and also Mitch got an advantage. Thomas got a steal vote, Mitch got a block a vote.
Right.
Could this come back to bite Thomas in a big way moving forward?
I think Thomas is already in some crap. I mean, everything that was going on with Star and finding the Beware advantage and then going to people about it. Thomas saying this whole like, well, let's just like, hide this decipher map. We'll just
Yeah.
we'll just do whatever and we'll do away with it. It's really put a target on him now where it's like, I can't trust him. This is diabolical. This isn't even like just a little survivor lie.
Yeah.
This is straight diabolical. And it's making it that people are kind of like, I don't know that I would want to play with him. I definitely can't trust anything he says.
Yeah.
I just feel like that move alone has made it that now, a lot of the tribe is just not going to trust him.
Yeah. Okay. Thomas, we need to have a talk here at the moment. It's okay to be a villain on Survivor. Like, there's a whole season of
For
Survivor, heroes
sure.
versus villains. It's all about that. But here's how you be a good villain on Survivor. You tell us that you're a villain. You don't tell other people in the game that what you're doing is this nefarious. Like, I'm not gonna try to get too much into the ethics of this, because Survivor, it is a game based on lies,
Yes.
defeating. You can do whatever you need to do. Like, I'm not gonna judge you for that. But the problem here, and this is why, if I was Thomas in this situation, talking about, oh, we can hide the cipher or get rid of it, I would never say this in a million years, because I would not want anyone to know that I am the most deceitful person out there, because I want to be the most deceitful person out there if I'm playing the game. And the idea that somebody else is capable of that, like, that is a huge red flag. Like, it doesn't seem like Shaheen's just like telling everybody else about it yet, but you have basically been given this information that you can use against Thomas at any point moving forward.
Yeah, and he totally should use this information against Thomas. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that Thomas actually told him, oh yeah, we should just, get rid of it. Let's do whatever,
Yeah.
send it into the ocean, whatever. I know, like, he was debating a bunch of different things. He was like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe I can slow it down so she just doesn't have her vote for just this one. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, I could be diabolical, but like, I'm not really interested in
Yeah.
that one. Or I could just help her. Like, there are lots of options. And in comes Thomas being like, diabolical, that's what we're going to do. And it was the minute that he was just like, oh, now I really don't feel good about
No.
that option. And now I know he's capable of that. So what do I do with this information? I think it's burned Thomas's game.
We need to send everybody on the Purple Tribe at this point into some sort of therapy, because there is so many weird psychological
I
discussions to
know.
have with this group. Now, like, we've already talked about, what Thomas did and how bad that was. But there's just this other really interesting discussion to have here, where Star is basically, she has found the Beware advantage.
Yep.
She's trying to figure it out. She's
Yep.
going to all these other people for help. And then the question is, okay, what do you do in this situation? Do you try to help her? Do you try to sabotage her? Like, I will say this, because it seems pretty obvious that Star is on the bottom of this alliance at this point.
Yes.
I do think that, why not just try to befriend her for the time being, help her find the idol? Like, I would be in this position where I would be super intent on helping her to find it, because you know what? If you do want to get rid of her later, just I'll blindside her. Just I'll make her feel really, really good. And I know that sounds diabolical in its own way, but it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like,
part of the game.
it is a part of the game. But you're giving yourself still the optionality that you can do that. But at the same time, if you do help her to find that idol, it seems like this tribe is doing really well in challenges. Maybe they don't lose any challenges for a while. Maybe there's a tribe swap. You end up with her and a lot of other people you don't know, and you have an ally who you know you can trust.
If I'm Star and I'm winning challenges, I'm not telling anybody about the cipher. Star was very open about the fact that she's like, yeah, I'm on the bottom. I
Yeah.
I know that I'm not part of anything. I can see people, going off together and whatever, and I'm kind of on my own. I need to find an idol. Okay, cool. I found an idol. Okay,
Yeah.
there's this cipher with it. Okay, it's going to take me a little while to figure it out. Girl, I'm with you. It would take me a while
Yeah.
to figure it out as well. But if I haven't been losing challenges and I am not going to tribal, I'm not telling anybody. I'm going to take my time and see if I can figure it out. And if I get into a situation where it's like looking like maybe challenges are going to get lost, then maybe, I pull the cord and I'm like, okay, I need to get some help. But before that, no, I'm not letting anybody know. I'm going to try to figure it out, even though I'm kind of crap with puzzles, and I'll just take my time with it. All you have is time.
That is a really, really good point. Because here's the thing. If you're in this situation and you're Star, you lose the challenge, you're going to tribal, like, and you tell somebody at that point, hey, I may have this. Do you want to help me? Like, is there going to be a part of these other people that are like, oh, you're telling this to me now? Sure. But at the same time, if
You're
they
not
were,
aligned with them.
yeah, and at the same time, if they were in your position, they would probably do the same exact thing. So
Right.
I don't think they can judge you for waiting to get help until that very moment. Like, I think it would have been okay. So yeah, I'm in full lockstep with you. I think that that's totally what she should have done, because there's no there's no immediate sense of urgency right now. And I get this idea that, yeah, you want to try to build trust with people, but at the same time, this is a very risky thing to build trust with because you're kind of hoping that they're not going to tell somebody else. And if you haven't gotten that close to people in the first couple of days, it's pretty fair to assume that they're working with others.
And it also feels like it's not really building trust. You're using people to help you
Yeah.
get an idol. And it's the same thing that everybody has been doing, where it's like, oh, I can't figure this out. Hey, can you help me get an idol? And if you already know that everybody else kind of paired off and they're not really with you, then
Yeah.
like, how does that benefit them that
Mhm.
you have an idol? It just benefits them to know that they can flush it out. So for me, I just wouldn't tell anybody, and I would bet on myself.
Here's where I'm going to stand atop a pedestal and say I am still Team Joe. After episode 2, he is still my favorite person. He's the person who I'm actively rooting for the most. And even with this episode, he didn't engage in all of the other funny business when it comes
No.
to the star idol dilemma. I mean,
And he told Eva everything
Yeah.
that was going on. She was really the person that was getting blindsided there.
yeah, like it's clear who he trusts the most. And if he's pulling the wool over Star's eyes a little bit, that's fine. That's the game.
That's
But
fine.
I don't think he's doing it in some sort of like way. He just seems like a pretty genuine dude. I worry he's too genuine. He's probably going to get voted out at some point, but that's okay, Joe, because you have my support. And doesn't that really matter the most?
Listen, there are people that win this game with honor, and there's people that don't. And I've always, the people are like, oh, I win this with honor and be
Yeah.
loyal and whatever. And that's fine. You can win this game all kinds of different ways. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me if you're honorable or you're a villain on this game.
No.
If you get to the end and you win, then, you know, you deserve your win. But if he gets to the end this way, you know, that would be great. And I think that he could, because he is aligned with people that seem to really genuinely like him and
Yeah.
trust him. And you can easily win this game that way.
Yeah, everybody believes in him. Like, that's a really important thing. That's why he's in such a good spot. I
Yeah.
think, good old butt Dr. Cedric's in a really good spot over on the Green Tribe right
Yeah.
now because it seems like everybody wants to go to him with information, and that's a really valuable thing.
Mhm.
Okay, we're going to get to Siva, and yes, we will talk a lot about the strategy, but it's time to talk about David again because we introduced David as possibly the signature character of the season. Maybe not in a sense of I'm rooting for him, but in a sense of I like to impersonate him, and I'm going to be sad when he goes.
I like how it's we that have
Yes,
introduced him, but
we.
it's all you, man.
Okay, so the evolution of David is here because now he is sitcom David, and David is the character who everybody's having a normal conversation in the sitcom. He walks in, the crowd starts to applaud, and then he's just like, who wants to milk me? And then everybody is just like walking out of the room. I know they were talking about weird things, but the way he was talking about it, it's like, look how strange I am. I'm different. And it's just like, Batman could not get this out of me the way in which that you are talking about it, David. You are so unbelievably weird. I don't know.
Is he? This is the thing that I'm really struggling with.
Yeah.
Like, I love the idea that there's they brought up, like, what are your humble traits? He's
Yeah.
like, this is mine, this is yours, whatever. Everybody's talking about it. I really like that.
Yeah.
But this guy is at an 11 all the time. And I know that there are people that are like that, but it feels like a bit. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, David. Like, it just doesn't feel genuine. And I watch these shows to connect with people that have, like, Kyle and Camilla, like, they have the same background as me. Team Guyana, all have the same background.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us watch these shows to connect with people. He feels like he's putting on a bit, like he's got these traits in himself that are genuine, but he's bringing them to an 11 for no reason.
You don't want to hear about my milk? Like, okay. You know
No, I don't. But I do want to hear about everybody's humble traits. So you guys leave it in the comments. What are your humble traits? And we'll share ours as well.
Okay, one of mine is really obvious. I'm like legally blind. I can't see at all in my right eye. I see really badly in my left eye. Can't drive. Also have minor cerebral palsy. So if I'm like shaking or rocking back and forth in these videos a lot and I can't stay still, that's why. That's what's going on here. Okay, you.
Okay, my humble trait is I am extremely short. And I know that it looks like, we're a little bit closer in height, but I'm sitting on 5 pillows right now. I'm only 5 feet tall, so I'm very, very short.
It's a real princess and the pea situation that is happening here.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of pillows so that I can even be in the frame properly, guys.
Yeah, no, I thought this was just a very fun segment in general. The
Me
last
too.
thing I'll say about David and this whole possible bit thing is that he basically did just do Robert De Niro's whole thing and Meet the Parents in
Right.
this entire discussion. So you
Right.
might be onto something there. But let's now get into okay, David has seen all of the various Skyrim reference clues that are all over the place with
That's
the
right.
dolphin and the bird. It's like, there's an idol out here. We got to find it.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
Kyle is assisting him in all of this. And now, Kyle, I know is your guy.
He's my guy. I know I just was like talking crap about Star pulling in other people to be able to help her with her idol, but mostly because I think she can do it by herself. I don't think she needed any help. I think she had time to figure it out herself. She seems like she's a really smart girl from the little amount of screen time that we've gotten with her. I think she could have figured it out herself and she would have been in a better position. But here, Kyle is part of Team Guyana. He had Camilla come in and help him out with it. I just love these two. I've said I want two winners. I want it to be the two of them. Can't they just share the money? I feel like they'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with it.
Should this just be like the finale of the Traders in that way,
Right?
where they just get to make
Share
a
or
choice?
steal.
No, I really like them too. I'm very happy for your Team Guyana, and
Me too.
this is where I also have to pour out an extra amount of praise here on Camilla. Like we mentioned in the start of this, that we've been covering Prime Target exclusively on
Yeah.
Patreon, and this
Yep.
is a show that's a lot about math and figuring
Yes.
things out math. I think Camilla auditioned for a part on Prime
I
Target
know.
season 2. I was just watching this and just being like, are you in Goodwill Hunting? Like, what's going on here? Even the editors, hats off to the way that you did like the word scramble on the on the
Yes.
screen and the survivor fought. Like, you are so incredibly smart. Like, I'm pretty good in math. I did a lot of number sense and stuff when I was in school. I couldn't have done what she did and broke it down in the way that she did. I was just like unbelievably impressed.
I love that she connected it to her time gaming, because if you are playing a lot of Skyrim or
Yes.
Elden Ring or whatever, you are going to come across stuff like this pretty often in different like
Yeah.
caves or castles or whatever that's going on. And the fact that she has played so many hours of games that she's like, you know what, I got this, and I have
Yeah.
it so fast. I was so impressed. You know what? I am Team Guyana, but I think I might be a little bit more Team Camilla.
That's fair. I think I'm a
I
little.
just really like her so much.
I like her so much too. Like, I'm probably leaning Team Kyle of the two, but it's just like I love them
I
both.
like him too.
They're both really good. That's why that's a really hard choice. And by the way, Camilla, if you're watching, let us know in the comments, what games are you playing? I'm just very, very curious.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so elsewhere in this tribe, and I will say, because of the way that Kyle and Camilla are presenting this in confessionals, almost like their alliance is secret, I think they may be the most.
Secret.
Yeah, I think if that's actually the case, if people on that tribe don't suspect they're as close as they are, which I don't know, I doubt it,
I
but
doubt it.
it feels like that could be the most dangerous two-person alliance in the entire game, depending on how things go. But
I just
yeah.
really feel like there's no way that people don't know. Like, even just that exchange that we had in the premiere where
Mhm.
it's like, oh, you like this movie? Me too. This is my second favorite. Me
Yeah.
too. Oh, we both have the same background. Our parents are from Guyana. Me too. Me too. If I was watching that, I'd be
Mhm.
like, there's too many natural connections between
Yeah.
these two people that even if they're not in an alliance, they are in an alliance. There's just no way.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Mitch now, because Mitch
Yeah.
goes on the journey. He ends up getting, his advantage. He comes back
block
with
of
the
oak.
advantage, and that's a really powerful thing to have.
Yeah.
He's honest about it,
Yeah.
which is great, but at the same time, it's painted a little bit of a target on him. But
Mm-hmm.
then he's also done this other thing, and this is really tricky, and I would struggle with this if I'm in the game too. It seems like he's getting closer to Charity. But the unfortunate thing is that Charity's on the bottom, but she's
Right.
on the outs. And
Right.
so he's almost guilty then by association. And then it gets into this really uncomfy place where if you are Mitch, do you not try to get close to her just because you know it's going to paint a target on you? But then you're like leaving somebody on the outs. And then that's kind of sad.
And it doesn't feel like Mitch wants to play that way.
Yeah.
He's just playing whoever he's making a connection with. And I think that there's a lot of people on that tribe that are
Mhm.
playing like that, like Kyle and Camilla. I think
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, we have a really natural connection. We have the same background. Yeah, let's,
Mhm.
team up sort of thing. But then you have the Davids of it all. They're like, let's get a big alliance. She's
Mhm.
on the bottom. Let's just get her out. And it's like, okay, like I get that or
Mhm.
whatever. But there are a lot more natural duos going on in this team.
I'm really worried about Mitch. I'm just gonna say this right now, and I don't want to be because, like, I had a really minor speech impediment when I was really little. I had a hard time saying sh's. Sometimes that still comes out in the video, so I know that what he goes through must be really, really challenging. And
Yeah.
I think he's inspirational for going out there. The unfortunate truth of the matter is, though, on Survivor, that can be used against you sometimes because people will think, oh, if you get to the end, you're going to win. And so he already has that obstacle. And now on top of that, he has an advantage that he told everybody about, which I don't blame him for. It's hard to lie in situations like this. And they're going to suspect something anyway.
Yeah, and I feel for Mitch, I know he painted a target on himself by doing, but I also think that he did the right thing. I
Yeah.
think that in certain situations it's, on Survivor, it's good to lie about it if you want, to try to hide it if somebody thinks that you're, a big threat. And I think right now Mitch was just in a good position. He's not too big of a threat, but he's not a threat, but he's, pretty social. He's a nice guy. Like nobody was really looking at him. I feel like he could have and did take this opportunity to build a bit of loyalty in the
Mhm.
group to be like, hey, I am somebody you can work with. Hey, I am going to be honest with you guys. So if you do want to work with me, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that it was a good move to make. Even if it blows up in his face,
Mhm.
it was the right way to go.
Yeah, I think so too, especially with whatever preconceived notions are out there. But 2 episodes in, Survivor 48, I'm feeling really good. I
Me
think we've
too.
got a lot of really likable players. I think it's good too that we have a villain, somebody you may want to root against in Thomas, because that adds I can't even say the word. It just adds dynamics to the show. It makes it
Yeah.
more interesting and layered.
And I love that Say is playing as hard as she is. I know not everybody is going to be watching it being like,
Yeah.
this is great gameplay. And I'm not saying that it is great gameplay,
Yeah.
but it's very entertaining to watch. And I've been thoroughly enjoying watching her on the show.
Yes, we don't want to sit here being like, I am a Survivor Wiz. I'm going to do everything
No,
correctly. It's like we're watching
no.
this for the entertainment. So
Yes.
say you keep doing what you're doing, and we hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. Let us know what you think about this episode,
Mhm.
whether or not we saw the right move made in getting rid of Kevin. Hit that subscribe button, help us get to 70,000. And if you want to support us further, join our Patreon. We have those exclusive videos there of the pit and Prime Target.
Yeah.
Thank you to our patrons.
Thank you.
We'll see you here next time.